My name is Eric Peterson. I'm president of the Charles L. Summers Alumni Association. I'm here with John Van Dries. He's the general manager of Northern Tier, and we are standing outside the lodge at the Charles L. Summers National High Adventure Base. And so we're going to kick it off. John is going to tell us about some of the great things happening this summer up here at Northern Tier. And take it away, John.
Thanks, Eric. We're pretty excited about this summer as it's turning out for us. Lots of you probably know that we've been sort of paddling into a headwind this last year with some of the different issues going on, and unfortunately we are not able to open the Canadian bases again this year. But on the other hand, we have an awesome summer planned for here at the Charles L. Summers base. We actually are expecting somewhere in the neighborhood of 6,000 adults and youth coming through here for high adventure treks this summer, which will be an all-time record by a long shot for this base's capacity. So our staff's really excited about it. We're still recruiting staff. We're in a pretty great place right now, but if you know some friends or you have some acquaintances that might be interested, put in a little plug for that. And then lastly, what I really want to do is just thank all of you members of the Alumni Association for just the tremendous support that you've given us over the years. The work weekends, the education, help with our training activities, and the scholarships to help us get staff returning each year. All of these things are just tremendous help to preserve the culture that has been cultivated over all these years here at Northern Tier. I think you all know that the quality of the experience really comes down to our staff, and the interpreter especially that's with each crew means so much to how well scout and leaders enjoy their experience up here. And for that, we thank you. I always tell the staff that we're privileged to stand on the shoulders of the giants that came before us, and I truly believe that, and just thanks so much for all of your support. Eric?
So we're here in the canoe yard. You can see all these canoes. There's actually 593 canoes. If you stretch those canoes end to end, that would go for a little bit over 2 miles. So each of these canoes are waiting for scouts to come in and take them out this summer. During the peak here in June, there probably won't be a canoe on the rack. They're all going to be out on the water. So it's going to be a great season here up at Northern Tier. All right, well, one thing happening this summer is the BSA Summer of Service. And this weekend is actually our annual Red Renner Memorial Work Week, where alumni come really from all over the country up to the base here to provide service and support for the program. We do a lot of service projects around the base, which you'll be seeing. Right now I'm here with Jim Barrett. So Jim is an alumni from the 70s. He's also a retired from the U.S. Forest Service. And so Jim, tell us about the projects that you've been working on.
Sure. In 1999, we had a huge, massive blowdown on July 4th. And it blew down a lot of our big red and white pine trees that we had growing on the base. So since then, I've been working on this project with alumni and the base staff to try and restore those pine trees that we lost. And here's a red pine that the staff is helping me, it's helping plant these trees. And we planted over in the 22 years since the blowdown, we've planted hundreds of seedlings and some bigger trees too, like the saplings like this one. And it's been a real learning experience. It's been a real challenge because of the deer predation and rabbit predation, and going through a drought cycle, and also learning about the competition from other tree species such as the balsam fir we have here. It really shades out a lot of the trees we plant, so we have to cut those down and get some more light down into where you plant the seedlings.
Yeah. That's great, Jim. And what's really neat about this is that you know, this will benefit the scouts that are here in 10, 20, 30, 40 years from now. And, you know, 40 years from now, this tree will be, you know, way up in the sky there, and it'll look fantastic. So really appreciate all the work that you've been doing and helping out the base with this project over the years. So thanks a lot.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
All right.
Thank you.
So the program, which is now Northern Tier, has its origins in 1923 when the first scout group from Winton, Minnesota headed out into what is now the Boundary Waters Wilderness Canoe Area under the leadership of Carlos Chase, who originated the program, which then became Region 10 Canoe Trails, then became the Charles L. Summers Wilderness Canoe Base, which then became what we know today as Northern Tier High Adventure. So I'm here now with author Dave Kinney. One of the projects we have to chronicle the history of that 100 years of wilderness canoeing, of scout wilderness canoeing, is to put together a book that goes over that history. And so Dave is with us, and I thought it'd be kind of interesting to hear from Dave what he's learned about the program and over these over these past 100 years.
So you want me to put it into just like the 100 years of history into like a little paragraph or something?
Yeah. Well, I think it's kind of more of like just kind of what you've kind of your takeaways of the program, and
Right.
Well, how it is today. I mean, when you think about it, the canoe trips, it's once you're out on the canoe trip, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, the start is completely different, right? Because you started out at the old sawmill landing in Winton, right on Fall Lake, and today you start off in this fantastic facility. But as soon as you hit that water, you're out in the same wilderness. You got fancier equipment, right? You got Kevlar instead of wood canvas, but it's the same.
Well, that is probably the thing that hits me hardest about this, is that almost by definition, because you've got people heading out into the wilderness that has been pretty well protected over the past 100 years. People are doing the same thing that they were doing at the very beginning. You're right. And that is unique, I think, among a lot of scouting programs, because the place that the scouts are going hasn't changed, which is a wonderful testament about what this area is. And so as a historian, that's very striking, because you're often looking for change over time. And in one really important and big respect here, there hasn't been a whole lot of change. So in coming up with ways to tell the story, then you have to be looking more at the place itself that the scouts are launching from, and things have changed a lot here over the years.
Yep.
From my standpoint, it is pretty impressive that the alumni here, basically the large number of people who have come through this place over the years, have taken the history of this place pretty seriously. And so over the years, there have been 2 previous histories written about this place, and you don't find that too often in the scouting community, or basically in society at large. People don't think in those terms, that what is happening now, what happened 20, 40, 50 years ago was all that important. So for me, it was, in one respect, a real benefit to have that previous work to start with. On the other hand, you have to always be careful as the new guy trying to tell the story, to realize that in most cases previous attempts to do the history sometimes don't get things completely right. So it's sort of the fun part of the job for me to use those previous storytelling efforts and figure out where the handed down knowledge, the accepted knowledge, maybe isn't quite accurate or isn't quite complete. And that's been one of the fun parts for me so far on this project.
Yeah. Plus, I think the other thing too is that, I mean, a lot of things, you know, so we learned something that happened that, you know, we didn't even know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like we just recently learned about the Eagle Scout canoe trips of 1930, you know, where they invited, Region 10 invited Eagle Scouts and other, you know, kind of distinguished scouters to come in and take these trips.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's actually being incorporated into the 100th season and 100th anniversary programs to, you know, basically recreate those trips. And so, and it was just sort of happenstance that we even learned about that. It was some, you know, a couple old ladies went into one of the scout offices in South Dakota and said, hey, I have this, you know, photo book and journal book, you know, from my dad's trip, or, you know, and that made its way over, and, you know, things just continually pop up. So it's really fascinating,
Yeah.
actually.
And when you find out something like that story, that's a jumping off place to go, well, is there more stuff like that?
Mm-hmm.
And in the research I've been able to do, I've been able to sort of fill in some additional gaps there about some trips that were taken even before that in the mid to late 20s. And so it is this process of discovery in the storytelling, and we're in the middle of it. We're not done yet.
All right, well, I'm really looking forward to seeing this book come together, and I'm sure all of our alumni will really look forward to reading it. And we're hoping to have it published in time for our 100th season, so it'll be available here in the Trading Post right behind us, and, you know, of course, be able to get it, I'm sure, from our website as well. So that's going to be a great,
I think we're
a
on
great
track.
read. Yeah, so it'll be good. All right, well, thanks, Dave.
Sure thing.
All right.
I'm Dick Shank, and this is Randy Childers. We're alumni members. We're involved with an annual work project week at Northern Tier. We pick up on projects that the base needs to have done and doesn't have the time or resources on most of the bodies to complete. At the moment, we're doing a cosmetic and minor structural improvement to the Sandy Burgess Program Center. We've also done a remodel of a bathroom in the staff lounge. You can talk about that, Randy.
Yeah, we've just started completely from scratch, building a new staff restroom in the lounge. Great project. Just about to wrap that up, working on some of the staff lockers and replacing some windows and doors, and just basically picking up some carpentry projects here and there along with other projects.
And we've done some work on signage around the base, refurbishing that and installing new signage, some roofing projects. We got eager volunteers who are willing to self-start and get the work done with minimal supervision.
For food, for raiment, for life and opportunity, for sun and rain, for water and portage trails, for friendship and fellowship, we thank thee, O Lord. Amen.
So I hope you've enjoyed seeing what's happening here at Northern Tier today. We've had a lot of alumni up here putting in their sweat equity during our work week. We have heard from John Van Dries, the general manager, about this upcoming summer, which sounds like to be a record-breaking year here at the Charles L. Summers base. And I'd like to thank all you out there for everything you do for scouting, especially all of our alumni who continue to support scouting and being engaged in the program here, but also back in their home councils as well. So thanks, everybody, and now we'll hand it on back to Philmont.